Hello viewers. We have been digging through the unsafe archives and we uncovered this little gem from 1961.
Yes. It's a Plymouth Valiant production comparing the Valiant to the Chevrolet Corvair, and it is titled, A Little Worthwhile Research. They are kind of tough on the poor little Corvair.
We hope you enjoyed the show.
Sally,
I'm here.
got your notes?
Yep.
I'll turn on the lights so we can get going. Got a tough deadline on this article.
Well, that's the magazine business for you, Sam. Rush, 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 rush. Anyway, I've got all the information you asked for. For one thing, Corvair is a little lower priced than Valiant.
It is, eh? Well, let's throw a little more light on the subject. Sally, you know our editorial policy. You give me the facts, and I interpret them from the buyer's viewpoint. Then our readers make up their own mind.
Okay, Sam. But Corvair says it's the greatest show on Worth. Isn't it cute?
Yeah, very cute. But let's just see what a little worthwhile research tells us about the cars, eh? Now, what about overall dimensions?
Well, Valiant is a little higher and wider than Corvair.
Do you have the figures on turning diameter?
Mm-hmm. Valiant's over 1.5 feet shorter.
More maneuverable, eh? Door openings?
Corvairs are wider, Valiant's are higher.
Tell me, which car do you think is easier to get in and out of?
Well, you sit lower down in a Corvair. I guess Valiant is easier. You have more slide in and out room between steering wheel and seat back, for one thing. And Valiant seat cushions are 1 inch higher in front, 2 inches higher in the rear.
Mm-hmm. So it's easier to get seated in a Valiant and more restful when you are seated. Look at these door panels. Even on Corvair's top-of-the-line 700 series. They're just fiberboard with painted metal garnish moldings. On a comparable Valiant V200, they're fully upholstered right up to the window. Gives it a look of luxury. Anything else in here?
Well, on the V200, you get front armrests, a right-hand sun visor, and a cigar lighter. They cost extra on all Corvairs.
What about this Valiant carpeting?
Extra?
Can you get it on a Corvair?
No. But power steering and power brakes are extra on Valiant, too.
And you can't get them on Corvair.
Right.
I see Corvair as a hand-operated parking brake. Valiant's is foot-operated, like on the bigger cars. Now let's check the trunks. Looks like Valiant has twice the room.
It does.
And a lower sill.
By 6.5 inches.
Yeah, pretty sharp.
Me or Valiant?
Both. Can you imagine what it would be like to carry a bulky load in this Corvair? You couldn't see to drive. No problem in a Valiant.
No, but Corvair has that optional folding rear seat, and together with the front compartment, it gives you more total luggage space than Valiant does.
Yes, but what would you do about that bulky load I was talking about? Saw it in half? And where would the rear seat passengers ride when the seat's folded? And how much extra does it cost?
$26.90. Sam, what about Corvair having the engine in the rear? Isn't that a good feature?
Well, it does give the car good traction. But putting most of the car weight in the rear like that makes steering a bit tricky under certain conditions. On my test drive, for example, there was a strong crosswind, and Corvair's front end seemed too light. I had to fight the wheel. But when I took Valiant over the same route on the same day, I had no trouble. Another thing. Corvair's weight distribution gives it a tendency to oversteer, to continue to turn in a circle. Valiant has the normal understeer, which most Americans are used to. The car wants to straighten itself out to follow the engine.
I see.
What'd you find out about tire inflation?
On Corvair, 15 pounds front, 26 rear. Valiant's is 24 pounds front and rear. Incidentally, the Corvair owner's manual says not to vary that air pressure, or you'll have oversteer problems.
Uh-huh. Well, let's look at the engines. Corvair has a support for the hood on one side. How about Valiant?
Counterbalanced hood, no strain. But Corvair's got more spunk this year, they say. Corvair's standard engine still has 80 horsepower, but their optional one has 98.
And Valiant has 101?
That's right.
What about torque? That's a good measurement of pulling power.
Corvair's standard has 128 pound-feet, and their optional has 132. Valiant has 155.
So Valiant still has more spunk.
But Corvair says more savings, too. Maybe it gives better gas mileage.
I doubt it. Both cars have the same basic engines as last year when Valiant beat Corvair in the mobile gas economy run.
Well, Corvair's engine is air-cooled, Sam. It doesn't need any radiator or antifreeze. That's good, isn't it?
Yes, but there's a price to pay for it, Sally. You see, air-cooled engines run a lot hotter than water-cooled jobs. So, engine temperature is much more critical in Corvair. If that long fan belt slips a little, the engine's in trouble.
Yes, their owner's manual mentioned something about that.
And as I recall, Corvair has a separate radiator for cooling their oil.
That's right. It's supposed to be cleaned every 5,000 miles.
What about chokes?
Well, Corvair's is manual this year. Valiant's is automatic.
Well, a thermostat is always a better judge than a driver as to when to lean out the mixture. What other differences did you find, Sal?
In automatic transmissions, Corvair has 2-speed ranges with hand lever control. Valiant has 3 speeds with push buttons. Sam, why the 3 speeds?
Oh, it's a lot more flexible. Gives quicker pickup, smoother acceleration, downshifting at higher speeds for safer passing, and more economical engine operation. How about electrical systems?
Corvair's got a generator. Valiant's got an alternator.
That alternator's the gizmo that charges the battery, even in bumper-to-bumper traffic, isn't it? Well, I'd like to see more of those on today's cars.
Oh?
Sure, it keeps the battery fully charged for cold morning starts. It lasts about twice as long as a generator, too, and it makes the battery last 2 or 3 times longer. Incidentally, what are the battery capacities?
Corvair's 35 amp hour, Valiant's 50.
Gosh, that gives Valiant an even wider margin of electrical oomph. Now for suspension systems. I remember that Valiant showed up better in rough going. Its torsion air system gives it much better ride control than Corvair can get with its 4-coil springs. Let's see, what's next?
Sam, Corvair offers a choice of 2 heaters this year. One is a gasoline heater like last year.
Yes, and it can cut your gas mileage as much as 8 miles per gallon under some conditions.
The other is a direct air type. It pipes in air from the engine compartment.
From the engine compartment? Well, that accounts for the fumes I smelled when I drove the Corvair.
Well, how about Valiant's?
Regular hot water system, safe and economical as they come. Gives you fresh outside air whenever you want it. Oh, say, did you get those wagon pictures?
Sure did. Corvair's the only wagon with luggage space front and rear.
Yes, but that split-level rear deck would be awkward with some loads. How do they compare in rear cargo space?
Valiant's is over 2 feet longer, 4.5 inches wider between wheel housings, and 2 inches higher.
On that Corvair lift gate, does the window roll down like Valiant's?
No.
So the Valiant gate gives better ventilation in summer and easier loading of small packages anytime.
I suppose you're right, as usual.
Well, we've got a good start here, Sal. Now, here's a few thoughts to jot down.
Shoot.
Inside and out, Valiant seems to give the buyer more automobile for his money.
Sam.
And what's more, Valiant should be more economical to operate and worth more at trade-in time.
Sam, you're not being nice.
What do you mean?
My research, all those Corvair features I told you about, you're ignoring them.
Oh, Sally, don't you fret. Your research will get used. It's going to show a lot of people which compact is worth more to them. Now, what do you say we go out and have a bite to eat?
Thanks for watching. And woohoo! That gal Sally can ride in my Corvair any day. Hee hee.